Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived an old lady. She was very old, with silver hair and a face full of gentle wrinkles, but her eyes, they were bright and full of kindness everywhere. One in the village loved her because she was always happy, even when life was hard. She lived alone in a little house near the big banyan tree. She had no children, and her husband had passed away many years ago, but still she never complained. She would sit under the tree, talk the people, and always smile. In that village, people worked hard. Some were farmers, some were carpenters, and some other worked in the small market. Sometimes the rain did not come and the crops dried up. Sometimes people fell ill and could not go easy. Life was not easy, and many villagers were often sad or worried. One day, a young woman named Radha came to her. Radha was crying, her face full of worry. She said, I did not know what to do. My husband has gone to the city to find work, but he has not sent any money. My children are hungry and I am scared. The old lady looked at the Radha and smiled softly. Sit down, my child, she said. Tell me, what do you think will happen? Radha wiped her tears and said, I don't know. I feel like bad things will happen. With if my husband cannot find work, what if he forget him? The old lady shook her head. Rather, when we think bad thoughts, we feel worse. But if we think good thoughts, we feel better, and something good things happen. Radha asked, but how can I think good thoughts when everything is so bad? She smiled again and said, let me tell you a story. Radha looked at her curious. The old lady began. Once there was a poor man who had nothing. He had no food, no money, no family. He sat by a river crying. An old woman came to him and asked, why are you crying? The man said, I am nothing. How can I help be happy? The old woman smiled and said, you have the river, you have the tree, you have the sun. Look around you. There is beauty and life everywhere. If you think about what you don't have, you will always be sad. But if you think what you do have, you will find place. That the man listened and slowly he stopped crying. He began to see the good thing around him. And from that today, his life began to change. The old lady looked at Radha and said, you see, my dear, the man life did not change because of magic. It changed when we positive our heart lighters. Radha thought about this story and said, will my thing really change life? She smiled gently and said, if you wake up early morning and tell you today will be a good day, you will find the strength to work, to care for your children, and to do wait for your husband with hope. But if you only think about what you think, you will feel and said weak. Radha modely slowly, I understand. I will try to think good thought from now. After that, my first step by step, she said, Radha left the old lady house with a lighter man every day. I remembered himself. She woke up and said, today will be a good day. She worked hard to care husband and prayed for her husband return. After a few weeks, Radha received a letter from her husband. He had found a job in the city and was sending money and Radha was overjoyed. She ran to old lady house to share the news, and lady house smiled and nodded. You see, my dear, when we think positive the and invite good thing into your life, problem will always come. But if we face with a hopeful, we can overcome. As on other villager began to words about the old lady. Without her, many people come to her and shared their problem. The old lady gave the some advice. They think good thoughts and good will come. The villager loved her the more because her he changed their lives. She had thoughts, the power of positive